Urbanna's going to be late, and Andrea was on her way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to this meeting of the Town Council for actually the month of December, this December 12th, 2024. Let's have a roll call. Mary Hanson,
Present.
the mayor is here. Larry Tuning.
Here.
Beth Justice.
Here.
And Marjorie Austin.
Here, but Mr. Mayor, you said December 24th, it's December 12th.
Yes, yep. Thank you for
Maybe Christmas Eve.
Yeah, looking for Christmas Eve, I
I
guess.
see that.
All right. Having a quorum, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No?
No discussion? Marjorie Austin?
Yes.
Beth Justice?
Yeah.
Larry Tuning?
Yes.
I say yes. Mary Hanson?
Yes.
All right. First item, I think it's important that we formally recognize that one of our own here on council, and as previous mayor, that Steve Holberg has passed away recently. I haven't seen anything in the paper yet, but there's no question that he was dedicated to this town. He was a multi-term member of the council and a two-term mayor, and I think we need to formally pass on our condolences to the Holberg family and recognize him for what he did for this town.
Absolutely.
Does anyone else have anything they want to say?
I'll let you know when they have
Yeah.
their celebration of life or what have, I'll let everyone know.
Okay.
Do we have some plan to create something to give to them, or
I think we should send flowers at least, or a
well,
potted
Yeah, and-
that, or some kind of, I don't know, do we have a
plaque or
plaque,
something.
or,
That's what
I
I'm
don't know,
thinking, a
something
plaque or
commemorating
something.
his service?
And Michelle
And-
makes up these things similar to what Mr. Putney just received.
Oh, the
that We certainly are going to do that. We haven't received any timeline as to when we're going to do it, or, I mean, when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I agree, and I haven't seen anything, you may know, Marjorie, as to whether there's some like charity or.
Not yet. There's going to be a celebration of life, and right now, they're still trying to get some things organized, so, or taken care of, legal aspects of things, so as soon as there's something, I will definitely pass it along.
If we do a plaque or something of that nature, we ought to invite Wanda to come
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
to the meeting. And,
I think we should get a nice, live plant from River Birch or something like that for her as well.
Tree or something.
probably immediately, right?
Yes.
What do you think, Mr. Mayor?
I think that's fine.
I think it's a good idea.
Is that a just direct
Staff?
staff to
Do that.
get that done? So be it.
She loves plants, so that's why I said a live plant, but, Beth was even talking about maybe like a tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a Norfolk pine.
Yeah, that would be
That would
beautiful
nice,
as
like
well.
this time of year.
In 0,1 Meilen
That was a shade of
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, we're in Deutschland.
And they do have space that they could plant a Norfolk pine?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
all right,
I don't know.
GPS.
Don't give me a pine tree.
all right, all right.
Yeah.
Moving on. Item
it's a
6
Norfolk
is
pine, so
the
it's
public
different.
hearing for resolution for a charter change. Mr. Costin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'll be back several times later tonight, but to begin with, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year. This is a public hearing under the authority of Section 15.2202 Code of Virginia 1950 as amended. This is a public hearing on a charter change. Recent charter change to clarify the voting powers of the mayor did not include recognizing the mayor as a member of council and thus counting towards a determination of quorum. The charter change proposed before council at this time, if approved by the General Assembly, would establish that the mayor is a member of council and does count towards the determination of a quorum. There's really no fiscal impact on this matter other than the advertising that we've already done for this evening's hearing. The staff recommendation in the council action requested is for council to adopt the resolution 2024-005 to request the change to the town's charter by the General Assembly to establish that the mayor is a member of council and does count towards its determination of quorum. You have a sample motion before you, and in your packet, you have the resolution. I'd be happy to take any questions you might have. And I don't believe anyone has signed up for the public hearing. No one has signed up.
Just want to say that, oh, you're talking about the public, okay. Excuse me.
No, but no one signed up.
Okay, so there's no public input on that.
So you opened and closed,
So the public hearing is now closed,
just clarifying.
and let it be recognized that Councilmember Alana Courtney has joined us.
So you-
And so
Merry
moving
Christmas,
on.
everybody.
Do I have a?
I'll make a motion.
sample motion?
I'll move to adopt resolution 005, which requests a change to the town's charter by the General Assembly to establish the mayor as a member of council and as such counts towards the determination of a quorum.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just some history. This goes back before you.
How could that be?
For years, the mayor was voting and breaking ties, and then we realized the charter didn't, there was some indication that the charter didn't allow it. And it was, I think, when Barbara was mayor.
Yes.
And this is really to clean that up. I mean, I think, I know myself, and I think most everybody on council feels like the mayor ought to have a vote. And,
Well, now we need him to be made part of a quorum.
but anyway, it's not just something that's happened with this term. It goes back a couple of terms.
Right.
At least one.
Yeah.
I think it's an unintended consequence from our previous charter change that I think we intended to accomplish
Exactly.
that.
That's
Well
correct.
said.
And I was just gonna say, what happens is, like, I crafted language, it goes to Hodges gives it to Legislative Services, and so it can come out different.
Right.
And that could have been what happened before.
True.
So it may not look exactly like what you think it's gonna look like.
Right. And the intent is there, and we certainly intended for the mayor previously to be part of the quorum, but because it wasn't specifically stated, we needed to clean that up. So that's,
Right.
And I will track the bill to make sure it says what we want it to say.
Okay, I appreciate that.
okay. Any further discussion? Having no further discussion, we'll have a vote. Marjorie Austin?
Yes.
Beth Justice?
Yes.
Larry Tuning?
Yes.
I say yes. Alana Courtney?
Yes.
Mary Hanson?
Yes.
Moving on to the minutes.
I didn't see any minutes.
We have none, Mr. Mayor.
We have none? Okay. Then we're on to the town administrator's report.
Very good.
All right. The most significant activity that's occurred in the last month has been the transition of the town clerk from Martha Rodenberg to Christine Branch. And while we wish Martha very much success as she moves forward, we welcome Christine and look forward to benefiting from her experience in the position. I'll tell you, she's already kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Okay. So inspection of the building we now occupy has been completed, and the report has been received and was being incorporated into discussions by council with the owners as part of the effort to bring that purchase to close. After receiving a second proposal, the on-site environmental site assessment has been conducted. Now, as of today, we received the report. The report, I have not read it cover to cover, but the cover letter basically says that nothing of concern was found, and they do not recommend going to a phase 2 or more in-depth environmental site assessment. So
Nice.
some good news there.
That's
Okay.
nice.
I participated in the after-action meeting with the Oyster Festival and met with Councilmember-elect Wilson. Also met with representatives of the Friends of Urbanna in preparation for a meeting with staff from the Department of Historic Resources. I then participated in that meeting, which was to review the condition of the museum building and also compliance to the established easement that is on the property that Department of Historic Resources controls. There were 4 additional meetings, with one being virtual, involving the USDA, Davenport, our bond council. That meeting dealt with the how best to close out Phase 1 funds and tap into the Phase 2 funds for the well project, which is underway. Access to Phase 2 funds appears not to be necessary until January, and there is some possibility of timing it so maybe that there's a better interest rate that comes available. Of significance, I want to spend some time on this one. Of significance is sort of a rebirthed effort to improve the electric cost for the town. This is a project that I'm familiar with from previous employee, and is a cost savings involved with basically getting an energy audit, undertaking some improvements on the property, and basically you don't pay that much because the company doing the work is using your energy credits, and that's how they make their money, providing you that service. I put that on back burner because we didn't have the building, okay? But timing is everything, and a grant opportunity presented itself that also involves an opportunity to partner with the county. In your packet, you have several documents related to that grant. Now, this is a grant that comes from the Department, the Virginia Energy Department. So it's a state agency. And the name of the grant is Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant for Marketing, Education, and Outreach. Yeah, and there's an acronym, but I'm not even going to give you the acronym because my tongue will get tied up. So what I'm asking for this evening, this grant, it had to be submitted 2 weeks ago. Now, it's an evolving process. Since then, they've moved back their deadline for grant submissions, and then they moved it back a second time. That tells you they're trying to get rid of the money, okay? There's not enough people coming in with grant applications. So I think we've got a pretty good shot at this grant application.
Let's get right.
So, I have put a draft letter in front of you, and I'm asking. I still haven't got an idea yet of who to exactly send it to, but we would certainly want to be sending it into the agency for their consideration. That basically says we're recognized as a partner in the grant application. The lead is the county. We're recognized as a partner in the grant, and we're wholeheartedly into the purposes of the grant, which, the most immediate benefit for us is reducing the cost of electricity for the town, but then there's also some opportunities to do the same thing, audits and upgrades for people in the town and outside the town. So that's the bulk of the grant. If I could offer a motion that just basically says, I move council endorse the Virginia Energy Grant application as submitted.
So moved.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
I wasn't going to try to repeat it.
We don't own the building, and I understand that, timing is an issue, but don't we need to confer with the current owner of the building before we embark on this?
So the list of properties aren't just this building. That's
The
the reason,
marina,
that's the reason I put it on the back burner. But we can go forward with the grant
Yep.
for the museum, the park,
Okay.
the street lights, the
Yeah.
marina,
Okay,
Waterman's
that
Park,
was
everything.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've got a lot of electricity that burns with even though they're new, the pumps and the electricity at the
Yep.
pool, the marina,
that's true.
The well.
If you look on the second page of the little fact sheet, about right in the middle, it says up to 10 town facilities, and then in
Okay.
parenthetical, it lists. So,
Yep.
if including the library, which isn't ours, but locationally, it's in town.
Right.
It's not just for this building.
Okay.
It can be, but it's not just for this building.
And if for some reason, well, if it's not just for this building, my question doesn't matter. Okay.
There's plenty of other stuff we.
Yep.
As long as there is, yes. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, including streetlights and stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not,
Yeah.
if I'm correct, each light is billed, is that, was it, or groups of them? Or,
There's two bills just for streetlights. One's Various, which is Marston and Rappahannock and all. And then the Virginia streetlights are billed separately, the old lights.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we are billed for streetlights.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Oh, solar lights don't require electricity.
No.
Yeah, but the sun's got to
And
shine.
the Mullins switched out the lights that are outside of this building to LEDs, what, last summer?
Yeah, I think it was.
So that's all.
So they got rid of the old mercury vapor that were there.
I think you have a motion and a second, you've had
Yep.
discussion. If
Yes,
you haven't
so
taken any
that
other
was
questions?
discussion, so now it's on to, any further discussion? All right, Marjorie Austin.
Yes.
Beth Justice.
Yes.
Larry Tuning.
Yes.
I say yes. Alana Courtney.
No,
And Mary Ann.
Yes.
I got to know more about this, what's required.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And, all right. Treasurer's report.
Good evening, everybody. I had emailed out the treasurer's report, some of the updates, some funds are still coming in, and we collected about another $9,000 in real estate and an additional 400 in the personal property. At this time, we have about $21,678 outstanding for real estate.
21,000?
21,000. Out of that funds, we have 3 real estate accounts that now hit 4 years. These 3 do have liens on them, and Ted and I have been talking, and we're going to get with the attorney, and we may not have a choice, but they may go up for tax sale. That's probably never happened in the town of Urbana before, but they're 4 years in the rear.
What about with the county? Are they 4 years arrears with the county too?
I honestly did not check recently, but they were delinquent with the county in the past.
Well, if you could partner with the county on that, it might be more
I've talked,
beneficial for council.
I've talked to them about that. They use different services. We have services available to us as well. We would naturally have to pay for those services and all. But the idea that 4 years, in the over 5 years that I've been here, nobody's ever been this
I
delinquent.
get it.
So otherwise, everything is rolling in pretty good.
Have we collected everything, all the Oyster Festival sales tax that we should have? The
They
meals
have until the
tax?
20th.
the
There's probably
20th, I'm
about
sorry.
5 or 6 that have not paid yet. But
Is that some of the same ones that we have a hard time with sometimes afterwards?
actually, the 2 that I went after last year were probably one of the first ones to send them in this year.
They didn't want to talk to you again, huh?
No, because I tell them, look, if you can't pay, then you can't come back. So
Right.
you need to
Okay.
pay on time.
Okay.
And they will stick to that if they don't pay. And I also track the numbers. I have a spreadsheet that goes back to 2014. So I look at what they're sending in, and I also compare it to what other vendors have done. So if they send in a lesser amount and everyone else is reporting a higher amount, I'll give them a call and ask them to double check their figures. And then I politely tell them, it appears that by the amount that you send in, our folks here in Urbana didn't like your product or your service. So maybe we need to replace you.
Yeah,
Wow.
So please go back and check your numbers. And it works every time.
yeah.
Who knows?
I would also, on that tax thing, I would check to see if we're dealing with low income.
No, sir,
aged,
no,
something.
no,
We're not, okay.
we're not.
Another question. All right, what's the percentage? At 21,000, that means that we're at 93%?
Because we've collected 246,791.
Okay.
That's
So we're
good.
pushing. Okay.
Good job, Michelle.
Thank you. While I have the floor, is it okay if I give it the other update, not pertaining to finances?
If it's part of your job.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for this past weekend. Marjorie and Beth were part of the planning and organization. As you know, we grew this year. We added Festival Village. It's unfortunate that it was so cold because about half our vendors didn't show up. It's a learning curve. You don't know what you don't know. So next year, it would be best that we move the vendors and sprinkle them throughout town. So if it is cold or something, we can have them in the bank. We can have them in Southside Sentinel, but bring them up and keep them closer. The one gentleman that I did talk to, he paid, I can't remember off the top, $150 to be at the West Point Christmas. And he told me, even though there was only those few vendors there, he did better here than he did in West Point. So that was very nice to hear.
I have a question. Is there any way we could move it like at 6 instead of 7 in case it is so cold?
For the parade, you
For the
mean?
parade, I mean.
How
For
about
next year?
5, 4?
Well, it gets dark by 5.
I feel like a lot of people aren't in the parade because they don't want to do the lights, and unless you do lights, nobody can see you, so the more lights, the better, and I think they lose a lot of just ordinary people.
I just thought it wouldn't be as,
Yeah.
once you
agree.
get into the dark, the more you get into the lake of the dark, it gets colder.
Yeah.
Well, this
could
would
do
be
this.
something for the Christmas committee
Yeah.
Yeah.
to review
Yeah.
and.
I just want to tell you before I
hash-
forget.
Okay.
Make a note. Beth says 6.
6. Well, the Saturday
And
was
it's a
the.
Saturday, so that's best.
Yeah, the Saturday, changing it to a Saturday was a huge success. We had approximately 40 entries into the parade. Pet Parade, our mayor here was one of the judges. We had 35 dogs. It was fantastic. There was no fights. No one got bitten. There was no bloodshed.
Yeah.
Very good. We, as the town, had honored Sergeant Cheek and Deputy Gonzalez for their outstanding service and what they do to help animals in need. That was really nice. I see that the county also picked it up and is sharing it over and over again. I'm bouncing all around. In this room, we have, where's Tammy? Here's Tammy. Tammy was a great help. He came to the meetings. He did all the organization, found some cars for the mayor, grand marshal, and all. So huge, huge help. Staff was fantastic. Mary Bell, Pam, Steve, they all jumped in and did whatever they needed. Ted
And you.
and Ted answered phones once in a while. Right, Ted?
Good for you.
When I wasn't already on the phone.
There you go. I'm trying to keep it short, but bottom line was it was a very, very successful event. By all the positive comments we've had, Facebook, our Facebook page just literally blew up. Numbers went really high, more followers. I don't think we saw one negative comment. It was all very, very positive. The other thing that we brought back, if you did not see, is the judging of the homes and businesses.
Yeah, how'd that go?
That was, oh my gosh, that was great. Virginia Street Cafe won first place. Urbanna Market won second. Mike Shefflett and his family took first place for residents, and Marnie and Sean, AKA Teddy's house, took second place. The judges were Pam Simon, Steve Pugh, the chief of the fire department, and Tammy, and they rode the truck. They rode the streets in the Bush truck playing Christmas songs as they judged. So a lot of good memories.
Yeah, there is one more person that needs a very big thank you, and that is Eric Fadre. He worked in all of that wind last week, all that cold, putting that maize up for the kids,
Yeah.
and it has really been used.
I have a write-up that's going to be going to the
Nice.
paper, and Eric and his wife is mentioned, along with Jim and Sandy Hayes.
Yes.
And then we had a couple business owners that went above and beyond. I'll just take the time. River from Angel Angel from
From
River
River House.
House, she brought in Santa Claus, she brought in vendors, she collected for the seniors. She just did so
Free
much.
ornaments making for the children.
Yes, and then Little Jimmy's had pick a balloon. All kids got a gift of some sort. The Wooden Pickle and Something Different donated meals to the alpaca farm owners because the alpacas, they did not charge us to be here. They're friends of
Nice.
ours, so they came. They were a huge success as well. And then Small Town Burger donated very generously to the 2 deputies. When we
Nice.
presented them with their certificate, they got meal gift cards as well with their presentation. So
As
I
community.
call it stone soup. You all remember the stone soup?
Oh,
And
yeah.
and that's what this is, and it came together very nicely.
Yep.
I thought it was fantastic. Dee and I did go to the parade, we didn't go to any of the others.
Okay.
Well, the
Nice.
Festival of Trees
was
was
fantastic.
beautiful
Yes.
at Lansdowne.
And Lans,
Much prettier location
Oh.
for them.
yeah, and then Lansdowne also opened their home, which was
Yes.
Right.
something new. So we had a lot of new things happen this year, and the idea is to just keep on
yeah.
adding new things and changing it up.
Right.
If you're gonna write something, I would mention AB's name.
Yes.
in- Yeah,
I was trying to pick out who was here and
Yeah.
just hit the highlights, but
I get his name too.
Thank you, Michelle. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a.
Michelle, you get a thank you
applause,
as
too.
well. You've done a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bravo, everybody.
Finance Committee, Sandy Sturgill is not here. The Finance Committee did meet, and the item that is most important is under new business B, the Middle Peninsula Planning District Commission surety agreement, which we'll cover later. It was
Shirt
the,
agreement?
what's that?
Did you say shirt?
Surety.
Pretty.
Oh,
Yes, and that'll be
you.
discussed later. It was the feeling of the Finance Committee that we conditionally sign on to that. but
Absolutely.
that can come at a later time in the agenda. Public comment. Do we have anybody that signed up for public comment? All right. Moving on to old business. Do we have any old business? All right.
Yeah, I guess I do. We had a drive-through our mid-sign, 6 months ago? Mm-hmm. And Steve got the sign up yesterday, or today, guess it was today. And, we had 2 spare poles at the end of the MITS program when we did it. And, I think we used one for Ruark when he was doing his Eaglescape. And the
Yes.
second one is now for this because the car bent it up.
Right.
So I'm hoping that we can talk about the possibility of getting a couple more poles made so that this is probably going to happen
Yep.
again
At the
Yeah.
church, it happens every now and
at
then.
church. And anyway, the Mitch pole is up and there, everybody can, there's a, with the map, they can go to each pole now and they're not missing one.
so Ted, is that something that you can just do, is go ahead on your own and order those 2 sign poles so
They've
that
got
we
to
have
be,
them?
they've got to be made by Atlantic Metal.
Right.
And I think there's some work being done on that now.
We can, or we can throw it into the mix for the budget, which we pretty much start next month.
Yeah, that's where I would
Yeah.
say is
Let's do
Okay.
make sure that we got enough
I
covered.
think we
when
have a
put the-
price on that because we
Where is the sign?
should have had a price on it.
The
because
different-
museum in the streets.
We should have had a
Museum
price on the
streets.
pole because I assumed that we're gonna get some reimbursement for that
From the insurance,
from the
yeah.
insurance.
We've already been reimbursed on the sign itself,
Okay,
which had to be completely redone.
yeah, no, yeah. Okay, well, anyway, I'm gonna bring that up.
Speaking
you,
of
Larry.
signs, how about the no parking sign at Payne's Crab House? I've been talking about for 10 months.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor, we're off agenda.
Yeah.
that's not old business.
That was an old business comment. But that's,
If, I would
Is that
like,
a
I
sore
would like to
subject?
remind the council, if you have items you'd like to see put on the agenda, please let us know in advance.
Well, you need to take the old business and new business off then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a general type thing.
Okay.
You know, we ought to be able to use it under that, or else take it off, and then we'll call and we'll bring it up.
Well, the
We put the
request
sign
would be
on the
to,
agenda about 4 times now. It's like,
right,
we need to
the
get this
request
sign.
would be that you let Christine know so that it's actually a listed item. I think that's where,
No, I've done that before. I want action.
all right. Moving on to new business.
I'll get a sign made.
I'll address it, Mr. Mayor. The sign is in a location where the Virginia Street terminus is, and as I've reported previously, we've been working with Docks of the Bay to do a rehab or a renovation down there. In the last meeting we had this discussion, I said I was ready to go forward with the project, and the council asked that we do a sketch. We get a sketch done. That sketch has gone to Docks of the Bay. I'm waiting for them to comment back on it. We have tried to set up a meeting for this week, maybe even next week, but we just can't look at a sign. We have to look at a project.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, I totally disagree. I see at least once a week or every other week, a great big bus parks on that property.
Yes.
And it's okay that they're there, but that bus is doing damage to that property, and so therefore, there needs to be a sign that says no parking. They can park on the other side, but unless that's done, that bus is going to continue to park there, and it's damaging that
This is
property.
one of the school buses.
Yes, it's a school
I've
bus.
spoken to the school folks.
Well, it's other people pull in there and park. It's just a
Is
sign,
there, is
Ted.
there the
It's
possibility
just
of a
freaking
temporary,
sign.
some temporary sign
W-
until
We
we
can,
get?
we can throw a temporary sign
Yeah.
down. I'm sure we'll find something, we can stick it down there.
Yeah.
But enforcement is going to be something else.
That's okay, at
And
least it's a
we
start.
could use
send
the
you down
signs,
there,
we could use the
Alana.
signs that we have for,
Sam.
We'll send-
for Oyster Festival
Yeah.
that say no parking.
Yeah.
You know, put a couple
It
of
just
those.
needs a no parking sign and a little rope or something. I mean, somebody can go around it and enjoy the thing, but there's damage being done and nobody's doing anything about it.
What bus number is it, Alana? Do you know?
Oh, Lord, I don't know.
Okay.
They bring the kids down once a week. I don't even know if they do this time of year, but I see other people. I'll see 2 or 3 trucks that are parked there, and it's not good for the land.
Sure.
Yeah, and
If it's gonna
certainly
be a
those
park,
temporary
let's
signs.
work on a park, but let's do, at least put a no
Protect it in the
parking sign.
meantime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the bus can't cross the bridge. I guess a lot of what we ought to do is when we decide what we're gonna do down there, we ought to put gravel or something down there so that a bus can park there, because
I don't think a
You're
bus
not
should
going to have the
park there.
room.
I think
You-
No, 'cause
you-
of
You're
the-
not
the
going to have
land
the
is
room.
too fragile for a bus to park.
You're not going to have the room.
well, they need to park somewhere.
They can park right there on the other side of the road. There's plenty of room for them
Oh, is
to
it?
pull in. Oh, and there's Latney, I'm sure, I would be happy to ask, he would not mind if the bus pulled into that. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to get into an hour conversation about
That's right.
I'm sure the
Okay.
bus
Try to
can
get it
cross the
done.
All right.
bridge as long as they're all 4 wheel or 6 wheels
Bridge
are on at the same time.
cannot cross the bridge because of tonnage.
Well, if the fire truck can because of
Length.
all
Supposed to.
wheels not being on there on the same time,
Oh, is that right?
yes. Then a bus certainly could.
Never heard that.
Yeah, they told us in the meeting. That's why the bridge didn't need to be replaced, because the fire truck doesn't put all the wheels on at the same time. Did they not, Michelle?
Yeah.
I don't know why that's
Yeah.
funny
It
to
was.
y'all.
It was.
The-
Remember that.
Right.
Sorry, that
What
sounds so
meeting?
funny.
All right. Moving on.
All right, the next item is the Middle Peninsula Planning District Commission All Hazards Mitigation Plan Update Service Agreement. All right, having lived this life for a few years, every locality has to have a hazard mitigation plan. And they can have an individual plan, or they can have a regional plan, or be part of a regional plan. Those local or regional plans roll up into the state plan. Okay, so they're part of the state hazard mitigation plan. What that means is if there's an event anywhere in Virginia, so flooding in southwest Virginia, if that's declared as a federal disaster, it opens up not only recovery money for those localities that are affected, but it also opens up mitigation money for every locality in Virginia. Okay? So you don't necessarily have to be impacted by a disaster to be able to dip into mitigation funds. Okay? But it is a requirement that we have the plan. The PDC has done the plan, the Middle Peninsula Plan District Commission has done the plan in the past. This is an update. And in September of 2023, FEMA was advised that the town would be participating in the regional plan. Now, you have a formal agreement before you this evening. Once that plan is done, there has to be a public hearing in each jurisdiction. And the first jurisdiction to adopt the plan starts the clock for the next 5-year update. So if for some reason, some locality waits 3 years to adopt, with the first locality adopted 2 years prior, that's the clock. So they only have 2 years left on their plan. The fiscal impact is less than $400, but there will be some staff time spent on attending meetings and participating in interviews and that sort of thing. I would recommend, because of my position in the past, that I take the lead on that with the mayor as the backup. The council action is requested that, which follows the staff recommendation, to agree to the terms of the agreement in anticipation of staff leadership engagement in the process. You have a sample motion. I'd be happy to take any questions you have. And you have the entire agreement, which is pretty much, I have to be honest with you, most of this agreement is FEMA speak and VDM speak. It's got to be in there.
Well, I'll make the motion. I move to authorize the town administrator to execute the service agreement before us this evening with the Middle Peninsula Planning District Commission to undertake the All Hazards Mitigation Plan update and to participate as fully as possible.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. I'll start off by saying, to reiterate, we're required to do this, right?
Yes.
And those are the kinds of things, because it's going to come up in the next item. You can ask what the Middle Peninsula Planning District Commission does for us. This is one of those things that they do for us, because they do the heavy lifting for a lot of this stuff, and we can fill in the blanks. And it would be a really arduous task to ask our staff to try to put together our own plan and participate individually.
Which would be the alternative, right?
It would be the
That would
alternative.
be
Yeah,
the alternative.
yeah.
And so, that's just one of the places that's sort of unseen, that comes up periodically, that they give us a boost, and we do front some of that cost, but it's not as much cost as if we tried to undertake it ourselves. Not the least of which is we now have a town administrator that has a background in it, so he could probably figure it out, but nobody else that has worked in that position would have an inkling and would have to start from scratch.
Yep.
Why reinvent the wheel?
This would be my third one. I've done 2 of these in other localities and saw a lot done when I was in VDM. So if they'll do the heavy lifting for us, that's good.
All right, any other discussion? All right, start down with Mary Hanson at this point.
Vote?
Vote.
Yes.
Alana?
Yes.
I say yes. Larry?
Yes.
Beth?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to the next item, the MPPDC surety agreement.
Okay. So the Planning District Commission manages a range of project programs and services, as you've seen this evening. They were involved in the energy grant. They were involved, obviously, in the mitigation grant and project. Primarily, these are funded through federal, state grant programs, but they are, about 95% of those are reimbursements, which means the PDC has to put the money out and they get reimbursed at the end of the project or at some pain point during the project. So having to cover those initial costs, and they're doing so many grants right now, to facilitate timely payments of contractors and streamline the reimbursement process, the PDC would like to utilize a short-term line of credit from the Virginia Resources Authority, the VRA. The line of credit would typically last up to 45 days and would ensure that the PDC can maintain cash flow during project life cycles. The VRA has committed to the PDC $500,000 of credit that can be accessed on an ongoing basis. Now, the federal state grant agreements serve as the primary form of collateral in the VRA line of credit. So you have the first and foremost is getting your reimbursement money. The PDC has unrestricted general fund, approximately $500,000. So there's your second backup. The VRA is asking for a third backup. That third backup is the good faith and credit of each of the localities in the PDC to say, hey, if the PDC were to default, will you kick in? Now, at this point in time, I know that Middlesex has agreed to do this contingent on all the other localities signing on. Essex is signed on without any caveats. My recommendation is,
West Point
Oh.
and Matthews is going to approve it next week.
okay, without caveat? Okay. Nevertheless, still, my recommendation would be, because we're kind of the little guys in this party, that we agree to it with the understanding that everybody else is involved as well. And so you have a sample motion there. I'd be happy to take any questions you have. But again, this is pretty much a standard agreement that was put together by the PDC. It's a fill-in-the-blank type of situation. So I look for your, take any
Caveat
questions.
is pretty important because they're gonna come back to us
Yeah.
and say, okay, only 4 did it, it's gonna cost this much. Or it's, so I think everybody's gonna do it, but I think it's important that we stick to it.
And
What is the possible magnitude of our exposure?
It was $24,000, I think, if everybody signs
I
on it.
think if
Much.
everybody,
It's
yeah,
24,000 if everybody.
Yeah.
For
so that's all-
everybody?
for
Or
everybody.
for us?
No, no, for us.
For us?
For us,
Mm-hmm.
no, us, yeah.
If everybody else signs on.
Okay.
Right, if
Okay.
it went through, so, just to reiterate, the MPPDC has all these projects. The only place that I could see that we would get direct benefit, a lot of it has to do with shoreline replenishment, dredging, which at some point may play a part for Urbanna Creek. They're tied up with Broad Creek right now is the big one. But they have all these projects, and Kurt Smith and Louis Lawrence have just done a masterful job of getting access to millions of dollars in
Yep.
grants. And they put that money out there, but they need to have the working cash
Yeah,
because they're
right.
reimbursement grants.
Right.
And so they're not committing money that they don't have a governmental promise that they're gonna be reimbursed. And they're just out there for cash flow. So the risk, though real, is not very great because of the fact that you're dealing with an already funded organization and funds that are being designated for reimbursement. And so we would be in third position
We're just a
to get this
short-term
done,
vendor.
and it helps them get the work done. Because otherwise, they've got a real bottleneck to try to get these projects done.
That makes sense.
Borrow,
How did
borrow,
they-
borrow.
How did
Borrow,
they
borrow.
figure out, is everybody's exposure 24,000, or is there some other formula for pro rata
The
shares of
towns, the
it?
3 towns, I think are 24.
I
Right.
see, okay,
And then the counties have a set amount.
okay. Thanks, Larry.
But the other part of this is that these grants are not just for, say, Urbana, the government. If people have a shoreline problem over on the Rappahannock and they
Yeah.
live in the town, they can get grants through
Yep.
that. So we're not just doing this
Okay.
to help ourselves. It's
That
a
is
way
good
of
to know.
helping.
Community effort.
Right, and a lot of what the Middle Peninsula Planning District Commission does has to do with, this is the region, as Keith Hodges said at his meeting, this is the region of failing wells and failing septic systems.
Yep.
And, and there's all kinds of projects that are afoot to try and help these people, get water and get rid of water.
They've
And,
got grants to help people with their septic and their wells. I mean,
Correct.
there's a lot of grants from the MPPTC.
and that's part of the reason why it doesn't help us as much, is because we actually have water and sewer. And so it puts it in a different spot.
Give you an idea of the massiveness of this, they're getting ready to do a $500,000 project on the glebe, which is at the headwaters, the old Demcock, Aerosmith, that property.
Yes.
Yes.
Trying to get,
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah, and so you got contractors needing to be paid,
Yeah,
Yep.
and a lot of times, the grant money hadn't come in,
right.
but,
It's
so
chicken and
they
egg
need a
situation.
They
backup.
still need their
They
money.
need a backup.
Exactly.
Which I think we're the third backup. What's the second one? You mentioned.
it's the grant funds whatever that grant project is. It's
Yeah.
the grant funds, and then it's PDC's reserves,
Reserve, yeah.
and then it's VRA, but VRA just wants the backup, which would be,
The chances of us ever spending any money on this are pretty slim. I think.
Well, and it sounds like if we did spend money, we would get reimbursed.
Oh, we'd get it
Yeah,
back.
we'd get it back, so it's a short term.
Well, I'll make the motion. I move to authorize the town administrator to execute the attached agreement providing moral obligation and support to the MPPDC's VRA financing and to convey to the MPPDC that support is in anticipation of all member jurisdictions participating. So that included the caveat as well, correct?
yes.
Thank you.
See, Marjorie, had you continued to go to those meetings, you could say MPPDC really quickly.
I used to be able to, but
All right. Do I have a
worked for
second?
long time.
Second,
Motion is moved and seconded. Further discussion?
Nope.
All right, we'll start with Marjorie Austin.
Yes.
Beth Justice.
Yes.
Larry Chuning.
Yes.
I say yes. Alana Courtney.
No,
And Mary Hanson.
yes.
sorry.
I
I'm not sorry.
I think each person on council should make it a point to go to one of those meetings. You can't participate, you just go sit against the wall. But you can go in there and hear and watch Louis and them tell you what this stuff's about it, because it is very interesting if you care about being on council and helping the town, because some of those things you can bring back to the town as well. So that's it.
All right. Item C is we need to set up an organizational meeting date for the start of the new council. Mr. Wilson will be joining us, and Sandy Sturgill will be off, but otherwise it's the gang of five that's up here. The recommendation is that we establish it, the first meeting at which we will set up the regular meetings, work sessions, set up, maybe
Holidays.
set up some planning as to what things we want to accomplish over the next year. And it's the kickoff. So,
So you're looking for a motion to set
To-
second Thursday in January as the organizational meeting at 6 o'clock at Town Hall?
that's correct.
It's not,
What is the date?
the 9th isn't the second Saturday, is it?
Thursday.
Second Thursday.
I mean,
Second
Thur-
It
Thursday.
should be, because it's
It is the
number
second
9.
Thursday.
Okay, so I'll move that the council hold a 2025 organizational
Okay.
meeting on Thursday, January 9th, 2025 at 6 o'clock in the council chambers of the town office at 390 Virginia Street, Suite B, in Urbana.
I'll second.
Poor Mary.
I would like to be here, but,
She'll be in India.
yeah,
And-
yeah. And I'm not, it's a 13-hour time difference. So if it's in the evening, that means it's,
You're in bed.
yeah, you're upside down.
Right.
You're literally upside down. So
I-
is
I
there
s-
some reason that we couldn't
I
save
simply,
it?
I simply proposed the second Thursday
Right.
because you all were
To
kind of
get
in
it
that
in
role
the
the
pattern.
I
second
get
Thursday.
it, I get it.
And so we could do the first one on the 16th,
The-
but it
No,
didn't just
that
mean,
won't work for me, sorry.
okay.
And I'm back, I fly like 23 hours.
All right, so
on that,
we'll leave
or
it the 9th.
more on that.
Yeah,
Motion is made and seconded for the 9th. Are we,
Combination of both, combination.
all right? There's our discussion.
You're going to be
Nope.
chairman of a number of committees.
Oh, no, Larry, I can't take anymore.
they
All
need
right.
to be revisited.
Marjorie Austin.
Yes,
Beth Justice.
Yes.
Larry Tuning.
Yes.
I say yes. Alana Courtney.
Yes.
And Mary Hanson.
Yes,
Of election
no,
or
no,
abstain.
I'm going to say no. I'm saying no.
Okay. All right.
Because I would
It
like
still
to be there.
passes.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have, but I just would like to
Twenty-third for you.
plant this seed with council. One of the things I'm going to ask for at that meeting is that at the next meeting, the quote work session meeting, that you all consider doing somewhat of a strategic planning section
Okay.
where
Right.
you rank projects.
Yeah.
Go back, look at everything that we've done, read agendas, read, reports, look at all the things that we've been talking about, all the things that you see that need to be done, like parking signs.
Yes, exactly.
And say, okay, and I would ask you, and I've done this before and not too successfully, because it really depends on how you do it. But think about 5 projects. What would be your number 1? What would be your number 2? And what number 3? And we rank them
For the 16th meeting.
for the well, I'm
No,
proposing that for the
23rd.
I'm proposing that for the
It's
work
the
session.
23rd, that would be the
I
4th.
I just want you to start thinking about that.
Okay.
I just want you to start thinking about that. And would be your top 5 projects
Okay.
that you would like to see accomplished in a year, 2 years? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Motion
That's
to
all-
adjourn.
That's all. I have.
No, there are announcements.
We already went past that.
No,
Good
Yeah,
public comment.
public comment?
no, public comment and announcements.
Anybody sneak back there and sign up for the second public comment? Did you? I didn't sign up. Okay. Do you want to say something?
Just real quick. Tammy Putney, 36 Meadow Lane, Urbanna, Virginia. Hello, guys. I want to hit on what Alana was talking about, and I was kind of whispering to Ted, but there was for a better word, a barrier down on that property.
Right.
And it got moved to the side.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So, that thing is like 8 to 10 feet long.
That would be a good thing, yeah.
I mean, it was there unless somebody's taken it.
Better
And I
than a
think it is
sign.
I
still
think
there, but
Latney moved it.
Yeah.
To take it over there when he was having
Yeah,
something.
so if you move that thing back, that bus driver's not getting out
Yeah,
and moving.
Yeah.
that's better than a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's big.
Can you move it, Tammy?
But
Yeah,
did you
I can
say,
put it back
if
out
I
there.
move it back?
So
Do
can
you
we,
know how
can
heavy
we,
that thing-
can we ask
I'm gonna
Tammy?
call you.
I'll do it in the morning.
Can we ask Tammy to do that?
All right.
Bill, Ted?
That's other public comment.
Bill.
Any announcements?
Announcements.
Marjorie is asking you a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it okay that we ask Tammy to move that?
I would say I'm always a little leery about people moving public property. Somebody's obviously moved it without permission,
Right.
so Mr. Putney would be a bit more covered, if you would.
Yes.
If you all want to do that.
Yes.
Part of the groundskeeping. I would consider that part of the groundskeeping.
That's one way to look at it.
Steve could always go down with him tomorrow.
He
Just-
can't lift. He can't lift.
No, he can't lift it. He's gonna lift it with a machine. He can't lift it either.
Is it that heavy? I'm thinking it's just those little
You
ballasts.
must be thinking about
No.
something different than I am.
It's a
They're
jersey
big,
wall.
long, they're like plastic, but not plastic jersey walls.
Don't worry about it. I won't do it.
All right.
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to
I'll
you.
sleep better tonight.
Tammy, I'll talk to you in the morning.
Thanks, Tammy. I'll bring you.
All right. Merry
Tammy, I'll
Christmas.
bring you coffee. What
Sorry I
time?
brought it up, right?
That's number 14. The one announcement is Merry Christmas, Mr. Putney.
Yes, I've got 2 announcements.
Okay.
Okay, 2 announcements. Don't forget the Urbana Main Street Home Tour on Saturday. It's going to be amazing. Absolutely. Some properties that we don't see very often, like the Cottrell's house, the lighthouse. Over across the bridge, a number of beautiful homes over on the Oyster Harbor side. And if you haven't seen what they did, what the Caskies did with building those apartments in the town hall,
amazing.
you will be, I think that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
They are stunners. So
Yeah.
it's really, really fun to see. A lot of work has gone into that. And also Polar Express is that night. So a lot
Yeah.
going on again.
And they doubled that this year.
I know
because it
they
was
did.
so
And they're
and
totally
still
sold
sold
out.
out.
Still sold out, yeah.
So, just so everybody knows, this is the train station,
Oh.
Right.
and, yeah, they have 2 runs, which doubled all the volunteers. So,
Yes.
I think they're still looking for a deer puller, if anybody would like to volunteer for tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. Let me know.
They've got me
I'll
doing
find
something,
out
but I
tonight
don't know
for
what.
you if Howard's home to be a deer puller.
Yeah, we need one more, and last I knew, we still need one more deer puller.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Marjorie?
Christmas, yes.
Beth?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
I say yes. Alana?
Alana
And Mary Hanson?
stay till
Yes.
7.
Thank you all for coming.
was
Merry
6
Christmas,
minutes
Happy
late.
New Year,
I was
Happy
like,
Hanukkah.
back in school again.